This video will focus on the functions that are available from the Vouchers dashboard in the Accounts Payable module. The Vouchers desktop is where all AP invoices are keyed so that bills can be managed and corresponding checks can be created. The first function we will review is Voucher Approval. This is an optional feature available in the system that allows for the approval of vouchers before checks can be created. This is typically used by a manager who is interested in reviewing the data entry of the AP vouchers prior to the activity hitting the books. This gives the manager the opportunity to not only ensure any entered activity is being booked to the appropriate accounts in the general ledger, but also to inform them of upcoming activity and expenses to plan accordingly for. In order to enforce the manager approval, the data entry user is typically not allowed access to the process button. This restricts them from posting the voucher and thereby prevents the check from being cut as well. Both the process and approval functions are enabled per user role in Securities in the Configure Role screen. In the Desktop Security tab, go to the corresponding Vouchers desktop to require approval for any user that will be keying the vouchers but prevented from cutting checks unless approval has been granted. Notice when this setting is enabled, by default, Process Voucher is disabled. The rules are mutually exclusive. You cannot process a voucher if you are required for approval first. The user that will be responsible for approving the vouchers must have the approver rights. Again, notice that that is mutually exclusive with require approval. It is one or the other. You either require approval or you are the approver. When you are the approver, you automatically have access to process the voucher. With the approval function enabled, the manager can quickly search for unapproved vouchers through the respective filter. Searching by date ranges, either by schedule date to see when bills are due or by invoice date based on when the agency was invoiced, may help to limit the search results. Notice the paid filter is by default set to no, since you are most frequently searching for unpaid vouchers in order to either approve, process, or create the checks. After reviewing the unapproved vouchers, either by opening up the record to review the details, or by reviewing the data through the grid, click on the Approve button. You may approve from the selected row or for all vouchers displayed. The voucher is now processed and posted to the general ledger. Notice one row that is highlighted in red. This is a visual prompt to alert you that the voucher is overdue. The scheduled date is set for 12/20, and since that is passed, the system will flag the voucher as overdue. Another useful color coding prompt is to set reminder days. This can be done in Configure, List Configuration, Accounts Payable, and Rules. By setting the number of days prior to the scheduled date of the voucher, you want a visual reminder. When entering a scheduled date against the vouchers, the system will then display the voucher in yellow in the search grid when you are within the designated number of days specified from the scheduled date. On top of this, you may also set up task reminders. These reminders would be sent to the user on their dashboard, and they would also receive an email notification. This can be configured in Security, in Configure Roles, and then Desktop Security. Check the Receive Voucher Reminders box, and each user in the associated role will get a task notification on the dashboard, as mentioned, along with an email that the voucher schedule date is approaching. These are very helpful tools for ensuring that your bills are paid on time. The next function we will review in this desktop is voucher processing. The Process Vouchers function saves information to the general ledger. This is a critical function that must be completed before checks can be created and printed. Just as with voucher approval, all top-level buttons must be enabled in Securities as already reviewed. Unprocessed vouchers can be quickly accessed by using the respective filter. Searching by date ranges may help to limit the search result, either by searching for scheduled date or invoice date. Processing vouchers can either happen this way through the search grid by choosing the vouchers to process, or by processing for all returned results, or the voucher can be processed at the time it is being keyed if the user has the ability to process. This would process the vouchers individually one by one versus approving in bulk. It just depends on your desired workflow and how many vouchers are being entered at a time, along with whether or not approvals must occur. The next function is the check preview function. With this enabled, this allows the user to preview the checks prior to printing, much like the check review function at Payroll. Once you are satisfied with the accuracy of the vouchers from the Preview Checks function, it's time to create checks using the Create Check function. As stated already, checks can only be created once the vouchers have been processed. There are easy indicators in the column alerting you to the fact of whether or not they've been processed, or you can use your search filter accordingly for processed but unpaid vouchers. To cut the check, simply choose the cash account along with the date of the check and create checks. You have the option to create an ACH file to upload to the bank should you pay any of your vouchers via this method. This creates the PDF of the check that can now be printed to a printer with the special Micker font cartridge and the blank check stock. Should you have any questions, please contact support by going to Options, Support, and Contact Support.